Okay guys, so first thing we're going to be doing is 9626 task 1. This is for October, November, the Cambridge exam. We're going to be doing the graphics part, and we are going to be creating some plates inside Inkscape. There's a couple of different things you need to do in terms of size measurements and using different outlines. So let's load up Inkscape and get started. First thing you need to do is create a circle. It doesn't really matter what size this circle is at first, because all you're going to do is immediately resize it. So let's just get rid of some of these because we don't need them. I'm going to draw the circle, and I'm going to go to use the mouse at the top, and I'm going to change the width to 100, and I'm going to change the height to 100. The reason I know it's this height is because in the question paper it does say 10 centimeters is a circle, so it's 10 the whole way around. And we now need to create the inner circle. So let's make sure we got our stroke the right thickness first. So it needs to be 3. Okay, and the rest of that is fine. I'm now going to duplicate it. For those of you who aren't listening with sound, I will do it old school way. And I'm going to change this to 70 by 70. Okay, the reason for that size, 1.5 on this side, 1.5 on that side, 1.5 times 2 is 3, 100 millilitres minus 30 is going to be 70. So I'm going to highlight over both of these, and I'm just going to align them. Okay, just to make sure we've aligned that perfectly, I'm going to flip it, and there's no difference. Okay, so now we need to create our shadow. There's different ways you can do this. Another way you can do it is going into drop shadow. Sometimes my live preview doesn't really work and it turns into a bit of a headache, for example now. So I'm just going to cancel that, and I'm going to go this way, and we're going to muck about with the strokes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go for a gradient. So radial gradient. We're going to increase the blur just a little bit, and the stroke style, I'm just going to increase the size of this, and you'll see it starts to come through. There we go. Okay, and if you now click on that and you press Control D, it duplicates it and it gets a little bit darker. I've got 2 on top of each other there. Okay, and that's all I'm going to use. This has now gone smaller because the top of it is here, so we're actually going to increase the size of this to 80 because this takes up from there to there, it's 30 millimeters, sorry. We need to be 70, so I'm just going to increase this to 82 and 82 on this side. I need to do the bottom one as well. Okay, I'm actually going to group them because they're going to be a pain. Okay, object, I'm going to go to group. Now I can move them both. I'm going to highlight over this, I'm just going to realign it. There we go. And that's pretty much the inner of our plate made. I now need to put some text in, so the text says top tables. I'm just going to highlight this as I go to make sure I've done it. There must be shading, I've done that. And the text must be 36 serif font. Serif is the one with the nice lines sticking off of it. Times New Roman is the one you want to go for, really. So the text is top tables. Top tables, okay. And I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to change this to Times New Roman. Times New Roman. There we go. And I'm just going to move this here, and now I'm going to select the plate. The way I select more than one is I hold down Shift and I click on the plate. I'm now going to go text and put on path. And it's not worked because I've just realised that is a grouped object now, so I need to ungroup it and just select one of them and now I can go text, put on path, and it will. I'm now going to click off of everything, and I'm now going to click on the tops, and I can move that independently. There we go. Okay, if I click on it once more, I can spin it around. Okay, and I need this to be a specific size. You can only change the size by going into the text, highlighting over all of it. I'm going to press Control A, and I'm going to change this to 36. There we go. I'm now going to drag it down. Unfortunately, it hasn't quite stayed in the middle, so I'm just going to move it about. I think that's good enough. There we go. I'm just going to center it as well, using a line. There we go. And now I can redo both of these circles. I can regroup them. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure this looks kind of similar to the one they've given us. And they've actually got a line around the outside, so maybe what I could do is just duplicate this once more, fill and stroke. Wow, that looks horrendous. And don't actually want gradient on it anymore. Let's change this to 3 points. No, come on. Ugh. Okay. I think I might bail on this one because let's delete that. Okay, let's draw another circle and keep that, put that as 1, and I need to amend the measurements. I think I did it as 82 before. 82. That's way too big, so let's try that as 70. And 70 on this side. Oh god, this is so glitchy. Just going to turn that custom mode off. And I'm just going to blur it a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to focus on the next part, which is creating the bottom plate. And there's a couple of different ways you can do this. I'm going to do this one way. So I'm going to create the smaller one first. So you need to change this to 3 up here, as that's a requirement. And we then need to change the size. The width is 5 centimeters, so 50 millimeters. And it needs to be 0.2 centimeters thick. So that's 2 millimeters. There we go. Looks tiny, so I'm just going to zoom in. And now I'm going to draw the slightly bigger one. And the measurements you need for this one, I'm going to do half first, so 50. And I'm going to change this side to 10. There we go. Oh, and what you want to do here is I'm going to try and line it up so that it's bang in the middle of the other one. Just move that forward. There we go. I'm now going to move this one just down. Okay. The reason I've done that is because in a second I'm going to be I'm going to create another half of this and union them. So first thing I need to do is convert this to a path. I'm then going to be able to move this. Okay. Now, there's 2 different things you can select here. One of them is a circle, one of them is a square. You do not want to click the circle like I just have. You want to be clicking the square. It's really, really difficult to see, especially in Inkscape. And I've already made my one rookie error. Okay. I now need to double click here. This stops it from this part amending it the whole way down. So you're going to put a couple of these in, try and make it nice and neat so it looks really, really smooth. Okay. Again, make sure you're clicking on the squares, not on the little circles. They will make it smoother, but in the interest of finishing the exam, you're not going to want to spend too long on it. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do for mine. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste it, copy, paste, and I'm just going to flip this image. Okay, I'm now going to line these up so they're perfectly in line. There we go. And I'm going to click on this. In fact, I'm just going to click on both of them and align them. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to click on this one, I'm going to hold down Shift, click on the other one, and I'm going to go up to Object, and I'm going to click, I'm going to go on Path and click Union, and you'll see that's left me whole way across, and I'm now going to just turn back on my snap. I'm going to snap it on there, there we go, and I'm just going to make sure that this is perfectly aligned. There we go. And now I've got my two plates, my two views of the plate. Now in the question it says, let's highlight all of this. Yeah, I've done that. And place a screenshot of the image showing any guidelines you used. I'm going to turn on the guidelines now. I realise this is kind of cheating. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Windows, Shift and S, and I'm going to make sure that I include all of the guidelines, including at the very top the different sizes that I've used, just to show that I have been using that. So now I am going to go in here and I'm going to paste it. There we go. And I'm just going to minus this down. The next part says that I need to export it. Okay, so to export it in Inkscape, you highlight over this. In fact, first things first, I'm going to save it as tutorial finished. I don't have a candidate number or anything, but obviously you'll need to save it as yours. I'm going to highlight over this, and I'm just going to double check what it says. I think I've just opened Spotify by accident. Yeah, my bad. So I've done that. Okay, and I've done that. Export only the face of the plate as a 100 by 100 bitmap. So I've selected the face of the plate. I'm going to go to File, Export PNG. PNG is bitmap. And I'm going to call this face plate. Just make sure you know where you're exporting it to. Yeah, so I know that's the correct place for me. And I'm going to change this to 100. Should change the bottom one as well, there we go. I'm going to press close when complete, just so I know that it's definitely exported it. There we go. Now the bottom one has slightly different. It doesn't say 100 by 100. It says to have a width of 100. So I'm just going to highlight that. I'm going to be cocky and assume I'm going to do it. Export PNG, width, change that to 100. And I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to go side plate. Okay, close when complete on, export. I know that it's done that. I'm now going to go into my area and just make sure that it has. Here we go. Year 13 paper, November 18. And I can see that. Now the examiner's literally going to look for that dimension on that one. That'll be where